welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And once again, outstanding guest. Here we have Dr. Janice Sims Woods. I mean, she's going to tell us, bring us back maybe 40, 50 years about the African American WACs. She's from the national vice president of the Association for the Study of African Americans,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I told her I wasn't going to say it all, but I got most of it. Janice, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You have your doctorate?
Yes, I do.
And what was your doctorate in?
It was in women's studies with a emphasis on African American history.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And there's so many things that we talked off campus that you're involved in.
Yes.
You just want to start on some about the WACs and everything. A lot of people don't know what WAC is, you know. Really, they don't. Give us, and this is the African American WACs in World War II.
Right. The WAC stands for the Women's Army Corps. And in the 1940s, after the World War II started, legislation was passed so that women could come into the military. And of course, you know, it was a segregated military at that time. So when the WACs came in, they were in a segregated unit. They started out, they did their training at Fort Des Moines, Iowa. And most of them, a lot of them had to stay there because
Couldn't go in town.
well, some could. They were places in town you could go, but you know what? The military told you which places you could go because some places
Safe
did not.
places,
Yes, did not welcome them.
Right.
But also, some of them didn't ever leave the base to go anywhere else because you had to wait for a commander to call for a unit, and commanders would not call for a black unit. So most of them trained at Fort Des Moines. Some went to Fort Huachuca, and then a few others went to other places, but some stayed the whole time at Fort Des Moines because they had nowhere else to go. So when they came in, Charity Adams was their commander. So she was the one that trained them. And everybody that came in first, that first graduating class in 1942, all those women had to be college graduates because they were going to train the other black WACs when they came in. So everybody that came in at that time were college grads. So what they did, although there were some men on the base at that time, once the WACs got trained, they sent the men off, and so they went to another base, and the WACs were there to train them. So they were trained. Those first WACs became officer candidates, so they were officers. Then they had a cooks and bakers school, they had a clerical school, and they had a transportation school. So those were the units that the women were trained in.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about these books that you have.
Well, one of the books that I brought was Charity Adams' autobiography. And again, she was the one, she was their commander. And she was also, the WACs did not get a chance to go overseas until 1945, almost at the end of the war. And she was the one that took them overseas. So she was the one that was in charge of everything. She knew everything that was going on with her ladies. So she was as an officer, you know, you have to stay. You can't fraternize too much with your people. So, but she was very, 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 she's very strict because she knew what the rules were, and so she made sure that her WACs did not get in any trouble.
And what were some of the assignments that they had doing their?
Well, Debbie Roundtree, when she first went in, and one of the questions that I asked them was about did they have a choice of where they wanted to go, of the training that they wanted to do? Well, Debbie said that she was put into the transportation pool, but she went and told them that she thought she was more literary than that, and she wanted to be assigned somewhere else. And they said, plus I can't drive. And she said, luckily they put her she said, well, since you like to talk so much, we're going to make you a recruiter. So she was a recruiter that went around the country recruiting women to come into the Women's Army Corps.
Oh, right. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Tell
then
us about the others. I think you had
Martha
three of them.
Putney was also, she came in a little bit later. She was not in that first class that came in. She came in a little bit later. Martha Putney ended up, she was a first lieutenant, but what happened, there was a group that was called out to the Chicago area, and they were to work in a hospital. They were not the Army Nursing Corps, but they were to help in the hospital unit. And it was in a ritzy neighborhood, and of course the neighbors did not want that unit there.
Right.
So she was the one that went out and was in charge of that unit at the Gardner Hospital in the Chicago area. So, and then I had one other lady that I did not bring a book on, but her name was Clementine Skinner, and she was in the WAC band. And they went around and performed all over the country in war bond drives and things of that nature. The other book that I brought was about the 6888. They were a postal unit. And again, because of the fact that no commander would call for them, and because of the Battle of the Bulge overseas stopped the mail entirely.
Right.
Well, finally they called for a unit to come and do the mail. And it was a black unit. It was a 6888. And they went over. They served in France, Rouen, France, and they served in Paris. So they were the ones that got the mail to the particular soldier. In fact, they had the whole unit, civilians, anybody that was overseas, they had their information. And one of the ladies talked about the fact that they were in a large building, and a mail had backed up for months. So, you know, Aunt Jenny's cookies and Aunt Bess's cakes and things had rotted.
Right. Wow.
So while they were sitting there waiting. And so they came into this big building, and she said they had to wear these special uniforms, waterproof, because it was wet and everything in there. And they were the ones that got the mail out. She said the rats were big as cats in there. And of course, it was blacked out also because of the fact that they worked a 24-hour shift. They worked around the clock trying to get this mail out. So they had to black it out so that the bombers couldn't see them, and they would bomb the place. So, but they got awards and everything for the fact that they got the mail. And a lot of times they would have almost nothing to go on, because by the time they got the mail, it was the fact that it might have been, the name might have been liberated. They just might have had just a little bit of information. So sometimes they would have to take what was on the inside. If somebody had sent, if there was an Ed Brown from Chicago, or they tried to find out, well, you know, they were probably
which Ed Brown
Ed Brown they were trying to find. Right. So they would try to do anything that they could find. Maybe it was the newspaper that the people had wrapped the materials in. So they were able to find the right people and get the mail to them. So these were some fascinating ladies. I mean, Martha Putney talks about the time that she was riding a train, and, you know, she bought a first-class ticket, but of course, because it was still segregated, you know, they always put the blacks by the caboose. And so she was up there in the first-class section, and the conductor told her to come and move. He said, well, you know, you have to move, you can't sit here. And she refused. So what she did, she went out and stood between the two rail cars and would not move. So the man told her, he says, well, I'm going to call the military police and have them come and arrest you. And she says, okay, go ahead. And when the police came, they had to salute her because she was a higher rank than they were. Right. And then they didn't arrest her. And then she said the conductor just almost had a fit out there. He could not believe that they did not arrest this black woman. So they told some fascinating stories. They told me about how they integrated the cafeteria, the mess hall, because when you go it's in the military, you go during the week, you go with your unit, so they all ate together. But during the weekends, they could sit anywhere, so they decided that they would sit at different tables during the weekend.
Tell us a little bit about this association that you're a vice president of, quickly.
Okay, I'm the vice president for membership. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History is the organization that Carter G. Woodson started. Okay. We will be celebrating our 100th anniversary in 2015. So we're starting with our celebrations now. And we have a conference every year. We go all across the country, and people come in, scholars come in and give papers. Then, of course, we have the students that come. A lot of these scholars have students that they bring, and they give papers. And we published, used to be the Journal of Negro History, which is now the Journal of African American History. And we also published Black History Bulletin, and which used to be the Negro History Bulletin, and that is a magazine for teachers by teachers, so that's on a lower level. The journal is for scholarly articles and
High level,
things.
yes.
And we also the one, as I say, we set the theme every year for Black History Month.
Is that right?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
And
good.
we produce some kind of a magazine. We used to do a kit
Mm.
every year. We try to do some posters and things of that nature, depicting the theme every year for Black History Month.
Well, another thing, you're still working on this African American museum that they're going to have in Washington, D.C. here, and you were telling about Lonnie Bunch, your contact with him. We're going to try to get you and Lonnie Bunch back here on the show and talk about this museum that they're collecting money now. So anyone that's really interested in this national, it will be coming in on 2015, and every quarter, whatever you have, you know, is that this museum is something that has to go big, and we're gonna have Lonnie, someone associated with this African American museum that's going to be here in Washington, D.C.
And also the Carter G. Woodson House.
And
we
the
hope
Carter
to have open in 2015 as well for our, and they're a part of the Park Service now. The Carter G. Woodson's home is on 9th Street, and they have taken it over, and hopefully it'll be an educational place as well for people to come and learn about.
That's open now, though.
It's not open yet. No, the Park Service has it now. So they are working. We're working to try to get it ready for 2015 as well.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an honor to have you and talk about the WACs from World War II, the types of things, and these books that you mentioned, they are available probably online. And
yes, you should
can
go
get
able
information
to
because a lot of people don't realize what the African American woman contribution that she made in World War II. And I want to thank you and your organization and continue to do the good work. And what we're going to do, we're going to have a second half here. And you haven't parted words.
Well, I thank you for having us come out here today. And of course, we'd like to come back. I'm going to bring somebody from the association, and we'll talk about what we're doing as well. But I enjoyed being here today, and thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, this is Ed Brown. We'll be back in a second. Don't go away now. I mean, you're going to miss something, and this may be your taste buds. See you in a second. Hi, welcome back to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And I was telling you, we're talking about taste, and we're talking about young men involved in the economy in this country. And we have an outstanding young man here, Lee Willis. He's going to talk about your taste bud. I know, hey, everybody's going out on cookouts and everything else. This young man, he decided, hey, they got to have something special. Welcome to the Ed Brown Show.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for having me. I appreciate it.
I tell you, you know what happened is I tried that, boy. It was terrific. You know? But just tell us, you know, what we're trying to do is promote young men getting into business, you know what I mean, getting involved in the economy in this country. And you're an example of a young man that's trying to do that. Tell us, how did you get involved in this product?
Well, actually, my father is the creator of the product.
Oh, your father?
Yeah,
huh?
my father is
Dad?
Old Family Recipe. He's back in Pittsburgh. Old Family Recipe, his recipe actually. And the way he came about creating this sauce is he makes custom barbecue barrel grills, and he's been doing that for years. And sometime around 1981.
You said barrel grills?
Barrel grills, but he customizes them. So if you know your favorite sports team, he'll make that grill, or you know he'll make a Redskin grill, or a, you know, Ravens grill, whatever, Yankees, what have you.
That's very unique.
Yeah, or he'll just put your name on it, or an Africa symbol, whatever you want. He'll put it on there. Well, some neighbors of ours back in Pittsburgh were getting married, and everyone usually gives you the same thing for wedding gifts. This was, like I said, around 1981 or so, you know, and he said, well, I'm going to make them a grill. I'm going to make them one of my barbecue grills that I made myself and my family. So he made them a grill, and at the wedding reception, everybody loved it, and they were like, wow, I want one, I want one, I want one. So he started mass producing these grills and making these grills in our basement. And as he would sell the grills, when people would buy grills off of him, he was already experimenting with making his own barbecue sauce. So he he would give you a jar of barbecue sauce along with the grill.
So he actually trained you. You have brothers and sisters?
No, I'm an only child.
You're the only
I'm
child?
the only child.
Oh, wow.
I'm an only child.
You mama's baby, huh?
Yeah. Yes. So he would give you a bottle of barbecue sauce when you bought a grill from him, and pretty soon people wanted the barbecue sauce more than they wanted the grills, and that's basically in a nutshell how.
So being an entrepreneur is in the family.
Yes, in the
I
family.
mean, your dad got involved, and you got involved
Yes.
with the now. With something like this, what is the specialty? I mean, you know, you go to the store, you got 10, 15. What makes yours different?
I think what makes ours different is the taste. And we like to call it cookout sauce as opposed to barbecue sauce. Everyone has barbecue sauce. We have a cookout sauce that we believe will take you back to those old family reunions that you used to have back in the day. It gives you that nostalgic feeling.
And you're from Laurel, right?
Yes, I live in Laurel.
You live in Laurel,
I live in
now.
Laurel. Yeah.
You have youngsters?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You're waiting till you
I'm
build a
waiting.
business up.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
great. How did you develop the plan and everything? A lot of youngsters, they want to get into business, and they just, how did you get started on saying, you know, well, this is something that everybody should have?
Well, I think it kind of just happened. It kind of just happened. Like I said,
Was there a demand for something like this?
yeah.
or-
It was a demand. Like I told you. Barbecue sauce was going real. Everybody was asking about it. So this was something that had to be done. So we said, why not just meet that market demand and get something out there that people can enjoy.
And have you been in any contests or anything? of that
We have
nature?
not been in any contests yet. We do vendor events, around the city, different couple of different cities and what have you, and around PG County and those type of things, or around the DC metro area. Probably pretty soon we'll be in some kind of battle of barbecue or something. So look out for that.
Are you training any young men along the line there to work with you?
Not per se in the barbecue business. I do mentor on Saturday.
You
Morning.
mentor?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
great.
So
where do you mentor? What area?
In Upper Marlboro.
Upper Marlboro.
Upper Marlboro.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the group?
Mentors to men. Out of Upper
Mentors to Men.
Marlboro. Mentors to manhood. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that MTM?
M2M.
M2M. Yes.
Yeah, that's where I met you.
Yeah, right. M2M, right. That's what I was thinking. You know, I said, wait a minute, I've heard that before. Yeah, yeah. Now, with M2M, how effective have that been for you? You know, do you think that's the way to go as far as mentoring young people?
Yes, it's definitely a great program. I'm fairly new to it. I've been there maybe a month or so.
Is that right?
Yeah, maybe a month and a
So
half.
it's working.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. The kids are real good. You can see the growth in them, and just by talking with people that have been in it longer than me, who have told me, a lot of the young men started here and ended up here, and you can just see the.
Well, I noticed in that meeting that Dr. Williams and I, we were there, Dr. Dula, yeah. We were very impressed at the attention, that you had, and that the youngsters were really glad to be there. This was on a Saturday. And generally, a kid is out doing anything but schoolwork, anything positive, basketball or whatever. But they were very attentive, and it was a positive meeting.
And it's an excellent program. And actually, we're looking for more mentors. So,
So for that mentoring program now, you can contact you or get involved with that. People want to volunteer.
Right, people that want to volunteer.
Because we need the parents out there. We need the especially the males. See, this was all male.
All males.
All male.
All males.
And the males take a rap, but what was happening, I was very impressed with how the males were really setting an excellent example,
Right.
you know, for these youngsters. They were in the age bracket of 13 to,
to
18,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, like 12 to 18, I believe.
12 to 18.
12 or 13 to 18, yeah.
Well, you're recruiting. How do you go about that?
Recruiting mentors.
Yes, yeah, the mentors.
We had a function, I believe, 2 weeks ago at the Bowie Library parking lot, and we had a booth. And you know, a lot of times it's just a matter of just going up to talking to people and getting names and addresses and asking people, do they have 1 hour a week? Can they spare 1 hour a week to?
You know, a good thing that they might add to that is like our guest Janice was saying, African American history. You know what I mean? A lot of it is not very good. You know, as far as a school system is concerned. What do you think having African American history and having someone like Dr. Janice here?
That would be excellent, because you can never know enough history.
Right.
And like you said, that's unfortunately a weaker point in the African American community.
And what I liked about possibly having someone like her on your at the mentoring, because it would have that female, you know, because generally our males, they look down on the female, you know, having a female to come into some of your sessions like that, you know, so that as far as respect for the female and all that would rise.
Yeah, and we have females in there every now and then, and, you know, to do different things.
Yeah.
We had an etiquette session a couple of weeks ago.
Etiquette session,
yeah,
right?
Yes,
open the door,
open the door, pull the chair out.
Pull the chair out. All right. Basic thing, but it's important.
It's very
you know
important.
What I mean? Because
very important.
With the lack of male in some of the homes, you know, this is a problem that they you know, they haven't had.
And a lot of times, this is the only place you can go that they will be exposed to learn these type of things. You know.
Now, getting back to this tasty sauce now, how do you, as far as I know, the formula and everything is secret. How did you come about that?
About the formula?
Yeah.
Well, my dad had he had a basic formula that he went with, and my aunt said, "Well, maybe put a little bit of this. I can't tell you the secret."
As that woman touch.
Right. She put my aunt Luella put a little touch in it, and he adopted it, and it just took it to another level. And then my father actually added more ingredients. Just like we have 4 flavors: regular, hot and spicy, hot mustard, and mustard flavor. So we're just trying to, you know, expand the product line.
Yeah. Well, as far as these grills concerned. Your dad, that's a great idea. You should let him show you that. A few people around here would like to have a redskin.
And he's made redskin grills and shipped them down here.
Is that right? That's unique. I haven't heard anyone doing that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But that's in Pittsburgh, right?
In Pittsburgh, yeah.
Right. That sounds great. Now, as far as recruiting other young men, how do you go about that? You know, you just get them involved, and was it two?
Oh, M2M?
Yeah, M2M.
Well, I'm not exactly sure, because when I got there, it was a full house, and I don't know if they were taking on any more. That's how good the program is. A lot of people, a lot of young men want to get in. You know what I mean? And I believe there's a capacity. I'm not sure what that capacity is.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Well, what is the requirements? If a young man wants to get into that program, M2M, what is the procedure? Just coming to a meeting, or how would they find out about the meeting?
Well, like I said, I don't really know how to get into it.
You're just a product of it.
I'm just a product of it.
That's good.
But I would be able to get back to you on some information like that.
You were at that meeting. You remember that the assignment that I gave you about business project? That everyone by the end of September is supposed to select a business, do research on it, and turn it in. And the winner the winner would be on the Ed
On the
Brown
right,
show.
yep,
Right.
yep, I
Yeah,
remember that.
You're familiar
I
with
remember
that.
that. I do
Okay.
remember that.
Well, I want to thank you for and this is what we're trying to do: get the young people involved in the economics of this
Right.
country.
Support.
And this is an excellent example. You're doing two things: you're mentoring, and also you're working with the businesses.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. Have a closing remark.
It's summertime. It's cookout season.
Yeah, this is the time for that taste.
This is the time for that taste.
Uh-huh.
If you see us around, you
Right.
know, please support. And also, if you would like to be a mentor, you can contact Mr. Ed Brown, and he can maybe give you some information on how you can be a part of M2M and help us out.
Okay, you've heard it here on the Ed Brown Show. I tell you, this is an example of young men that are doing positive things out there. And what we want you to do is volunteer. There's a lot of you guys out there that's retired and everything. We need your help, and the young men need your help. See you next time.